and the growth mindset. Okay. So just in a nutshell, the fixed mindset is someone who, just basically has that negative mindset we were talking about, right? And the growth mindset is someone who has the positive mindset we were talking about. So that's just like very, very, very summarized. But here are some important points that are coming up on how each of them differentiate. Now, the whole purpose of this exercise, and to be honest, with any type of exercise that allows you to find out about your own self, it's not that, oh, okay, I'm stuck with these traits, that's it, that's me. Like, for example, if you do a personality test, it doesn't mean, okay, that person is me, I'm an introvert for the rest of my life, right? Or I'm shy for the rest of my life. It doesn't mean that. It just means, okay, this is yourself, right? But you can work on other things to get you to another type of personality, or to allow you to develop some positive mindset traits, right? So it's always something where it tells you your strengths and weaknesses, and then you develop your weaknesses into strengths, and then you acquire new strengths as well. So that's the whole purpose of this. It's to just, bear in mind yourself with this. I don't want you to be picturing other people, right? That's like the worst thing to do when it comes to investing in a program that is developing yourself. Okay. um don't ever, when I'm going to mention some things, don't ever think, oh yeah, my brother does that, or I know a friend that did that once, he looks so silly. Yeah, don't be laughing at that. Don't have that ego around you. All right. Really and truly, knuckle down on exactly what I'm trying to say here, and then trying to improve yourself. That's the whole point of this, right? Because I guarantee you, again, right, and I have to keep drilling this point in. I'm going to be drilling this point in throughout the whole program as well, and they have probably heard me say it millions and millions of times. Closers who have a poor mindset don't get any results. They don't get any results at all, right? So this is the importance of it. If you want to have a nice income, okay, if you want to have a good side income, maybe you like your job, that's completely fine. You just want a side income, £500, 2K, 3K, whatever it is, right? Then you have to have the right mindset. Okay. So let's go to the first trait. So fixed mindset, I'm only good at certain things. So this is just stemming on what we said before, right? Where they find out that, they're good at just a few things and they never want to grow. They never want to learn another skill. Now, all of you who have come into this program, you have actually got traits of a growth mindset, because you know that obviously you don't know anything about the closing skill, but you want to learn it. You want to learn it, right? So that itself is part of a growth mindset, right? I can be good at anything. So this is a person with a growth mindset, person who wants to achieve a lot in life, right? And not be one of those people who, had no influence over their family, over their friends, over their own children or whatever. Then they have to have these growth mindset traits, right? So one is, I can be good at anything. Anything you put your mind to, you should be good at, right? That's literally how it should be. You should be a fast learner and also a fast implementer, an action taker. Okay. Another negative trait of the fixed mindset is, I give up when it gets too hard. So if there's something you're doing, you've tried it one time, two times, then you just give up, then that's slightly, some people would describe it as being weak minded, right? But you don't want to be weak minded, because in life, I'm telling you guys, in life, when it comes to, having family, having children, looking
Hello?
after, house bills, all that type of stuff, right? It's all going to get a bit difficult. It's all going to get a bit difficult, right? But you never give up. Or when it comes to people doing their exams, or things like that, or people applying for jobs and they're not getting any jobs and stuff like that, then there are always going to be parts where it's difficult. All right. But you just have to ride through the wave, as they say, right? So don't be of those who give up when it gets too hard. The only time you're a failure is when you give up. The only time you're a failure is when you give up. Now, obviously, we have to qualify this. Like, if it's something you've tried like 10, 20 times, you've consulted with a lot of people, and it's just something that is not for you, or you're not getting for some reason, or is not the right thing at this particular moment in time, then of course, the wise thing would be to give up. But in general, especially nowadays, when it comes to, um, the millennials, right? That type of age, which I'm in as well, people, they give up when it's too hard, right? They try to do something, they're told it's amazing, they maybe try to set up an Amazon store or something and try to make some money from it, and then it's a bit too hard. Forget this, is it's a bit too technical. it's too difficult, and then they just give up. Yeah. Yeah, rather the growth mindset is that you try until you get the result that you want, and that's what we should be adopting. Another thing is that fixed mindset hates challenge. They hate being challenged. Okay, so they only want to do things that are easy, right? And I guarantee you, when you only want to do things that are easy, then later on in life things will get very, very, very hard, right? So you might not think it now, right? um can we have everyone just shouting out the ages of themselves? What age are you guys, just so I get an
26,
idea?
Mohsin.
26,
19.
19,
27.
27, same.
Fun, 35.
27,
Sorry,
31,
there was 31. Yep.
29.
29,
26.
26, 27. Okay, perfect, perfect. Yeah, so you're kind of all, within the same kind of bracket, right? Between 18 and 35-ish, right? Even 18 and 40 doesn't really matter. But, if you keep doing the easy things now, if you keep just going, job to job and stuff like that, where you don't really have anything that's too difficult for you to do, or you don't have anything whereby you're building something for the future and you're just taking things very, very easily, then what's going to happen is that later on in life, 50, 60 years old, what's going to happen is that a time will come where you'd be regretting that you didn't use your youth properly. Yeah, and that will always come. That's why you always need a growth mindset. You always need goals to aspire to. You always need, let's say, for example, in the financial section of your life, right? You want to be having several streams of income, right? So if one dries out, then you have six or seven other ones, right? If you don't like your job anymore, okay, you can just push the button, you can quit. Oh, I've got six or seven passive income streams, so it's completely fine for me to do that. Yeah, those are the things you want to be doing. So do all this hard stuff first, build yourself properly, build your family properly, and everything like that. And then later on, life will be a lot easier for everyone. All right. Growth mindset, I embrace challenge. Okay. Fixed mindset, I take feedback and criticism personally. Growth mindset, I welcome feedback and criticism. So again, pertaining to this particular program, if for example some of you guys saying, oh, I'm busy, I can't do this, can't do that, I'm going to criticize you, right? Or for example, if you have a bad role play or a bad yeah, let's say just like a bad role play, then if you welcome feedback, then that's good. Because remember, I'm only doing this so that you can improve, so that your results in your own life can improve. Okay, I'm not doing it so I can just put you guys down or anything like that, right? Or embarrass you in front of the whole crowd or whatever. Okay, so it's really just to help you with things, right? And a lot of people out there, they do actually want to help. All right, so that's why you should always be welcome to feedback and criticism. You should always be ready to learn and grow from others. Okay, now there are some people in life, like the fringe few, who they generally want bad for you, right? So try and identify those people, stay away from them, keep them at like an arm's length. Yeah, don't let them get too much in your life. Don't let them learn too much about your goals and what you want to achieve, because they'll just be very jealous, right? And that will affect you as well. I don't like doing what I don't know. Yeah. So again, this is kind of like the ones above, as we mentioned. And the growth mindset, I like learning about things I don't know. Yeah. So there's a thing here called comfort zone. We're going to expand on it a bit later. Does anyone know what comfort zone is?
It's just basically something you're so used to and comfortable with. Like
Mhm.
you do certain things out of routine and habit, and you just kind of stay in that zone, and you don't want to progress from it, or you don't like to see change. Having any sort of change really affects you, basically. So you're just stuck in that same zone.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And we'll definitely expand on that a bit more as well when you come to that particular slide. Okay, cool. So these are a bunch of mindset maxims. So a maxim is basically like a principle, a cornerstone that you should always adopt in your life, basically, right? So number one is don't fear, just do. All right. Don't fear, just do. Now, the most important thing here is that a lot of the times when people are approached with a particular challenge that they have to do, a lot of us, we fear it, right? We're like, oh no, I don't know about it, what people are going to say. You're always going to feel fear with something new that comes up. right? Or something you haven't tried or experienced before, right? Now, the one thing that really shifted my mindset, right, and a lot of my students' mindsets as well, is that fear is an illusion. Make sure you write this down. Fear is an illusion. Illusion. And you will only realize this once you've done the thing that you actually fear, right? So, for example, um, before I became a closer, before I started learning closing, I was actually thinking to myself, well, I mean, how on earth would I close people on the phone? I mean, I can't, I have a slight stutter. I'm anxious on the phone. Be- Before closing, I used to actually hate being on the phone, right? I used to work as a pharmacist, right? And then when I was told call the GP because the prescription's wrong, I was like, oh man, do I have to call them? It's long and this and that. I always had that slight fear of doing it, just in case, I'd say something wrong or something wrong would happen that I said, or whatever it is, but you have that fear, right? But to be honest, fear is an illusion, right? The way you get over it is that you just do it. And then you think to yourself, oh, well, that wasn't actually that bad, right? How many of you guys have actually experienced that where you've done something that, where you're about to do something and you fear it a lot, and then you just did it, and then you actually thought, okay, well, it wasn't that bad. How many? Just say yes or write in the chat. Yeah, yeah, cool, cool.
Yep.
So, perfect. Now, the thing also with fear is that there are quite a few different kind of, let's say, categories of fear, right? And these are some important things to note as well, because these may affect the goals and the vision in life that you have, as well as, in this program as well, when you're learning about closing and things like that, right? So, fear of success, right? So, this is a well known thing. Your prospects will probably have this over the phone. Fear of success, right? So that is a fear that if I become successful, it's going to be way too different than my normal life, and they actually fear that change, right? So there is actually a thing called fear of success, even though some of you guys may be thinking, why would someone be fearful of making a lot of money or this and that? Why? Because a lot of people have seen what happens when people make good money. People get jealous, right? People who you once thought were your friends, they're not actually your friends anymore, because they're accusing you of things and this and that and not helping them or whatever. Or you've got more responsibility if it's like within your local community or your family and stuff like that. So a lot of people actually fear uh, success, right? They fear being someone um, who's always looked up to, just in case they do something wrong. So all these types of things, this is the fear of success, right? And then you have like the fear of the unknown, right? So the fear of not knowing what lies ahead if you do a certain action. Okay. Now, this happens a lot with your prospects over the phone, right? So when it comes to over the phone, they'll be like, ah, man, I'm not sure if I should pull the trigger here because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I go on the 6 week closing program. I don't know how it will be after. I don't know, if I'd be a good closer or not. Well, obviously, you don't know that. No one knows that. You just have to find it out, right? It's just like, for example, you're walking. In a particular area, right? And there's a little bit of a hill, you can't see anything around you, right? And then you continue walking, right? And then you actually see, oh, okay, so there's a cafe there, there's another shop there, there's another shop there, right? When previously you were scared not to walk because you didn't want to walk that huge hill, right? So it's just like that. When you actually do something, then you'll actually find, okay, well, it's not that bad. Yeah. And then you start to adapt to it as well. Okay. The next thing is fear of failure. Fear of failure, right? So this kind of comes in with fear of the unknown as well, right? But it's more of like self-doubt, having self-doubt. So normally a person with low confidence, low self-esteem, they're the ones that have fear of failure all the time before they get into anything. All right. They have no certainty and trust, right? Um, and this happens a lot in the phone calls as well. Again, throughout the whole program, we're going to be telling you how to get over these types of objections as well. Okay, so that's, don't fear, just do it. Just do it, and then um, go from there. All right. Now, I want you to, you can do this now for just a couple of minutes. If you've got like a blank sheet of paper, or if you're on the computer, you can, go on Google Docs or Word or whatever. Write down 3 situations where fear has stopped you from getting what you wanted. Write down 3 situations where fear has stopped you from getting what you wanted. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes from now. I'm going to carry on speaking as well. So just do it while I speak. And the reason why we have this exercise is because there must have been, or there may have been, at least one part of your life where you knew something was okay. It sounds promising, right? But you didn't take it because you feared it, right? So whether that's a job opportunity, or whether that's an opportunity to do something amazing in whatever talent you have or whatever, but fear actually stopped you. Fear, whether it was fear of the unknown, whereby, oh, I don't know how much money I'm going to make from this, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I can do that. Fear of failure, right? Or fear of success. So one of those three. So if you can just write that down, and then we'll stop at 8:36. So 2 minutes now. All right, so just wrapping up your statements. 1 minute left. Okay, cool. So, does anyone want to share anything? If you got something like too personal, you don't have to share it or anything. But if it's something that people can benefit from and you're not too worried about sharing, then that would be, most grateful. I'd be most grateful for that. Anyone want to share anything? You can just unmute your mic and start speaking.
I'll share mine.
Sure.
I did do my driving test for a very long time because I feared I would get into an accident.
Okay. Yeah. And
So
then
I
when
did
you
it when
did
I was like
your, and then how long was it until you actually did your driving test? How long did you have this fear for?
for about good 2 years.
A good 2 years. Wow. And then from there,
Yeah.
when you actually did your driving test, then, how many attempts was it, or how long was it until you actually passed and now you're confident in driving?
It was pretty good, and now I'm actually one of the fastest drivers in my family.
Okay, perfect. Exactly. So that's a very, very good situation there, right? Example, right? The reason is because a lot of people, when it comes to fear, it's normally not just for like a day or a week or a month. It's normally for a very long period of time, right? And this is something that we really have to get over as well. Now, for example, the example that was just given. So, 2 years worth of fear, but then when the driving test was done, it was all good after that, right? So that's exactly the kind of example that we wanted, right? So that's a perfect example. Thanks for that. But that's, that just sums up this whole mindset maxim, right? So if there's anything that you're going to fear, or you actually fear, like right now, then what I want you to do in your own time, you don't have to do it now or anything, in your own time, I want you to write down what is it that you actually fear about the situation that you're presented with, or the opportunity that's there and you don't want to take because you're fearing it, right? Just write it down, because you know what, when you write it down, then it becomes real, right? And a lot of times you can't really put your thoughts down onto the writing because it seems so silly. I did this as well because I invested in this particular program, um, which was a course on how to make some side income through some other avenue. I think it was affiliate marketing or something. And I was a bit fearful of investing, right? Because there's a lot of money, like 3K or something, right? So I was a bit fearful. So I actually thought, okay, let's stop fearing. Let's actually write down the things that I'm scared of, right? And then I wrote, well, I'm not sure if this would be a waste of money because I might fail, right? So there you go, fear of failure, right? And I was thinking, well, okay, the way to rectify that is you actually just do it. You don't procrastinate. You set yourself a schedule. You've got enough time to do it. So what else is there stopping you? And then I said nothing. And then I was like, okay, let's do it then, right? So that's how you should be. That's literally how you should be. All right. So that was a very good example. Thanks for that. Yeah, until you actually do the thing that you're scared of, it'll always seem impossible or very difficult in your mind, right? That's why you need to write it down. When you write things down, everything becomes so much clearer. Okay. And then you'd actually find out that the reasons that you have aren't actually good enough reasons to actually fear that or stop doing that. Okay. Jumping off into the pool instead of standing and analyzing. Yeah. So basically, analysis paralysis. Has anyone heard of this term, analysis paralysis? It is quite a famous term. Does anyone want to explain what it means?
I feel like I've heard the term, but I feel like paralysis, sorry, means like if you analyze the situation too much, it sort of increases your fear factor, so you're less likely to do it. Rather than if you think about it too much, then you're less likely to do it. Whereas if you just sort of do it, you're not thinking, you sort of don't have that paralysis. That's sort of something that stops you.
Exactly. That's a perfect answer. Yeah, exactly. So what you don't want to do when it comes to situations is you don't want to analyze too much, right? You know, one of my mentors in business, he said, for example, he told me a particular strategy to get more clients, right? And then I said, oh, okay, but you know, if I do that, then this is going to happen. How do I do that? And then he's like, look, think less, do more. As easy as that. Think less, do more. Now, a lot of us are like very, very smart, right? A lot of us have been through the whole schooling system, university, whatnot. A lot of us, you know, have been working for a lot of time, you know, very, very good at the jobs that you do. You know, a lot of us are very smart in different skills and talents that we have, right? Sometimes that smartness can actually be a problem. And that's when we overthink too much, right? And overthinking, it actually comes from something called like perfectionism, right? So perfectionism, has anyone heard of this term, perfectionism? Or being a perfectionist, as people would say if you are one? Anyone want to describe it?
Is it someone that wants to, you know, sort of pin down to the finest detail of whatever task they're given?
Exactly. They want to literally have every single thing of the task that they're given or the opportunity that lies ahead all down on paper before they actually go through it. And they don't just want that all on paper. They want to actually analyze, okay, so if this happens, what happens then? If that happens, what happens then? They want to analyze every little thing about it. They want to be perfect, right? So for example, when I'm doing these slides, right, I'm thinking, okay, I need to put comma here. It needs to be perfect. But really and truly, does it need to be perfect? No. Can anyone do something perfect? No. Right. So the very essence of perfectionism is just really procrastination. Right. So I want you to write this down as well. Perfectionism is another way of procrastinating. Okay. So you might think you're doing wonders by thinking, oh, I'm thinking about this and that about this particular job opportunity that I've been presented with. But really and truly, it's just more like perfectionism. And that's actually procrastination. Right. Because if you think about it, right, you're still in the same position. You just need to make that decision, move on with your life. All right. And another problem is that everyone fears failure too much. And this is why this mindset principle is so huge. And this is why it's number one, because really and truly, it's like it's one of the biggest things that stops us from doing amazing things. All right. So I just want you on the recording of this as well, when you go over it again, just like keep going over this stuff until it drills in your head, right? And make sure that instead of trying to be perfect with everything, so even for example when it comes to your role plays and things like that, instead of being perfect with everything, just try to improve at least just 1% every single day. Just 1%, or even just 0.1%. Improving, keep improving, instead of trying to be perfect and trying to get to 100% the next day, because that's not going to happen. All right. So you should rather focus on progress over perfectionism. Focus on results over your emotions. All right. Because perfectionism is really your emotions. Oh, I feel that I need to do this before that can be in place, and you know, all that kind of stuff that you talk to yourself with. right? So progress over perfectionism. When you focus on progress, that's when you get more results. And that's when you make those decisions that help you in life. So that's the first one. Number two, you can't save anyone until you save yourself first. All right? You can't save anyone until you save yourself first. And you have a picture here, lovely picture here of a plane crashing, right? Now, when a plane crashes or when like there's turbulence, right? Then what happens? The masks come down, right? Do the people say, okay, put everyone else's mask on first and then your own? No, of course not. You need to protect yourself first. You need to save yourself first. All right. So this is exactly how it is in life. First, you want to be one who is, uh, you know, knowledgeable, right? You want to be one who is financially well off. You want to be one who has a good level of self development and good mindset. You want to be one who is, healthy. All of these different things, you should prioritize yourself first before you save others, before you tell others, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, right? The worst thing is when someone comes to you, they've not perfected what they're going to tell you to do, and then they give you that advice anyway, and they say, oh, but you should do this, you should do that. But okay, so why haven't you done it? Yeah. Focus on yourself first, right? Before you contribute to society, right? Um, you know, and to be honest, a lot of people won't really see this as something too wise, but I guarantee you, when you focus on yourself first, you're focusing on, stabilizing your own family, right? Helping your family with whatever they need helping with, making sure everyone's financially well off, make sure everyone's healthy, make sure everyone's got a good mindset, good self-development. If you're a religious person as well, make sure they're top in terms of their religion as well, which is very important. So all of these different things, you save yourself and your family first, of course, and then after then you can go and help society, right? It just makes sense, and that's what you should do, right? Because I guarantee if you keep focusing on other people, when you get to a much higher age, 40, 50, you're going to be in a lot of mess. You're going to be in a lot of mess, right? So focus on yourself first and then others. Number three, long-term thinking always beats short-term thinking. All right. Long-term thinking always beats short-term thinking. Now, this is a very, very important one as well. Well, to be honest, they're all important, right? And the reason with this is because a lot of people want to get rich quick. They want to get rich quick, right? They want it where, okay, I'm going to go on this 6-week closing program and I'm going to make 10K a month after 6 weeks. Okay, it's ambitious. You can be ambitious, yeah, but you have to think long term, yeah. You have to think long term. You have to be a bit more practical. All right. Now, if you put in the work to actually earn 10K a month after 6 weeks, then yeah, you can definitely get there. No one's going to stop you from getting there. But what you should be thinking is, okay, I want to earn 10K a month by the next 12 to 24 months. Yeah. And the reason is because with anything in life, you should have low expectations. You should have low expectations, right? Apart from yourself, where you should always push yourself and stuff like that, right? But with anything else, anything can happen, right? This is why you should always think long term first. I've seen so many closers, right? They want to find the perfect business client to close for and make a lot of money and stuff like that. And still to this day, even after a year or two in being in closing, they still haven't found that person. And because of that, they haven't made much money through closing, right? But if they actually took the long term thinking approach, well, the better thing that would have happened was that, okay, they would be making a good amount of money. They'd be working with medium-sized to decent business partners instead of their ideal business partner they want to work with. And then, they'd be making very good money along the way, as well as increasing their experience and everything, right? So for example, you want to be someone who is looking to be, to have 6 or 7 streams of passive income coming in by, 5 to 10 years time. It shouldn't be just within 1 year, because that doesn't make sense. That's too much for 1 year, right? Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but they underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So that's another quote, right? I don't know who it's by, right? But it's one of those kind of success quotes that you find out there, right? Most people, they overestimate what they can do in 1 year. 1 year is a very long time, but you shouldn't be overestimating it, right? You should be very realistic, okay? and then they underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So if you're looking to make 6 or 7 income streams and stuff like that, and learning a lot of skills, self-development, financial skills, whatever it is, then have a long-term plan, right? Long-term plan. Number 4, anyone who moves gets something. Anyone who moves gets something. I want you to look at that picture on the bottom right, and I want you to really think about it, right? So you got a statue there labeled the thinker. Statue is still there. You got the doer, he's already gone. Yeah. So anyone who moves gets something, right? If you're the first one, you don't even have to be the first one. You just need to stop thinking, stop being in your own mind, get out there and actually do something. And then you'll gain all of the experience that a person thinking would actually never think about. And that's how powerful this statement is. All right. So make sure whenever you're presented with an opportunity, or make sure when we tell you, do the homeworks, go over the scripts a few times a day, etc., then make sure you do it. You don't think about it. You don't say, oh, well, I need to plan this perfectly. I need to put it in my calendar and all this stuff. Just do it. Yeah. Think less, do more. Okay. Obviously, you still need to think about how things will work, right? You have to do that, but you need to be an action taker. And this is where it comes. This is the whole essence of this point, is where you need to be an action taker. You need to be someone who is fast at implementing what they're taught, so then you can get faster results. Number 5, don't let the past dictate your future. And again, you can easily see the picture on the bottom right there. A guy, he comes in with a whole load of past. So let's say, for example, in this program, right? Let's say, for example, you're a person who has not been successful in a particular program where you learn how to make money on Amazon or something like that, in the past year or something. Don't take that baggage with you now. Yeah, just leave it behind. You don't actually need it. It's just going to slow you down, because what it's going to do is that you're going to think, I'm getting to that stage where it's a bit difficult now, just like with the Amazon one. I'm getting to that stage where I quit. I quit in week 3 of that Amazon program I did last year. I didn't get results, and this week 3 now, I don't know if it's if I'm going to do the same thing. Yeah, leave it all behind. Likewise, people saying things about you. Yeah, if, for example, people who are close to your loved ones, they say, no, don't think about getting rich. You won't be able to do that. Just have a nice job, etc., right? Then leave that all behind. You don't need to come in with that. That's past baggage. You can just leave that, right? And then just walk on. Yeah. Because I guarantee you, when you leave all of that negativity behind, anything bad that happened in the past, any bad experiences, any kind of traumatic experiences, when you deal with it and leave it in the past, then that will actually unshackle you so that you're ready to move into the future and to actually make something better of your life, instead of keep thinking about the bad things that happen, right? And again, that's part of like a poor type of mindset, where you only keep thinking about the bad things that have happened to you. You're not grateful for the good things that have happened to you as well. Yeah. So this will definitely help you a lot in life. And here's a quote: sometimes people with the worst past create the best future. How is that? Because they dealt with their past. Okay, it might have been very difficult at the time, but they dealt with it, right? They sought some counsel about it or whatever. They dealt with it, they faced themselves, and then they left it behind. And then now they can actually sprint forward instead of just walking forward. Mindset maxim number 6, play to win, don't play not to lose. Play to win, don't play not to lose. All right? All right, now who's a football fan here? Can we just have a yes?
Definitely me.
Yes.
Yeah. Who supports United? Who supports Arsenal here?
I support United, unfortunately. No, I'm joking.
Arsenal.
Cool. All right. So
Arsenal.
So for some people that don't know this reference, the principle is, right, that if, for example, you're a team playing football, you go out there with the intention to defend and not to give away a goal, then you're in a very bad situation already, right? You've already lost because you're playing not to lose. Always play to win. Always play to win, right? So, for example, the reason why I asked, who supports United, who supports Arsenal. So I'm a United fan, right? Unfortunately at this time. But, last week, yeah, we played not to lose. We played not to lose. We were just defensive, very, very defensive. And then Arsenal beat us 1-0, right? So that's what happens. So the thing is, when you play not to lose, you're already set up. your whole team or your whole life not to lose, right? You haven't set it up to win. So when something bad happens and you're actually losing now, then it's very, very difficult for you to get back. Very, very difficult for you to get back on top, right? And that's exactly how it was in the last match as well, right? So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to play to win, don't play not to lose, right? You need to be a risk taker. You need to be a risk taker, okay? You need to be prepared to lose so that you can win, right? You have to be prepared to lose as well, all right? So that you can win, okay? So this is a very important life lesson. So whenever you're presented with an opportunity, always think about these things as well, okay? Mindset maxim number 7. Success is buried underneath heaps of failure. Now, this is one of my favorite, right? You can probably hear I'm smiling or something, right? But success is buried underneath heaps of failure. Now, this has to be written in gold somewhere, seriously. But when I heard about this, I was like, wow. Right? So if you look at the bottom, the picture on the bottom right, the iceberg. Does anyone know why the iceberg is there and how it relates to this statement? Anyone? Want to give it a try? Anyone want to get past the fear of answering the question wrong? Cool. So what it is, success is buried underneath heaps of failure, right? So you see this iceberg. You can probably see my my mouse pointer thing. So the top, the tip, right, is still huge, right? It's like a mountain in itself, the tip of an iceberg, right? It is huge, okay? Now, this is what people see in terms of one's success. So when one becomes successful, then you only see, oh, they've got the flashy cars, they've got the house, you know, they've got a nice family, they've got this, they got that, they got everything, man. I wish I had that. This is how people think. This is how people see things. They just see that. They do not see every single thing that they had to go through to get to that stage. That like huge mountain that's 10 times bigger than the one on top. Yeah, they don't see all of that. They don't see all the failure. They don't see all the, crying because something's gone wrong or they've lost a lot of money or they've lost family or whatever. Yeah, to get to their goals. They don't see all of the times that they've made so many silly mistakes and they were embarrassed, right? They don't see the times where a lot of people started hating them and putting them down and discouraging them and things like that. They don't see any of that. No one sees that. They just see, oh, he's got this, he's got that, or she's got this, she's got that. They're living the perfect life, right? And this is why, as well, just as a little side point, it's always best not to be on social media too much, right? And even like posting your own stuff on social media about, your family and stuff like that. It's always best not to do that because there'll always be people out there that are jealous. So for example, even if you have a kid, right, you shouldn't really post it online because people will be very, very jealous because some people, they might not be able to have a kid, right? And they'll just be jealous and they'll wish bad upon you and stuff like that, right? So, social media is a whole nother topic, but this is called the iceberg effect, right? Or the iceberg principle, okay? So here you see all the success. At the bottom, you see all the hard work and dedication and commitment, sleepless nights, all the hours put into getting to that little success there, all right? But the fact is, no one else sees that. They only see that and they think because of that, it's very easy to get there. But in actual fact, when you actually start doing entrepreneurship, when you actually start doing closing, when you start doing whatever it is that you want, right, in life, when you start working towards your goals, you're always going to come across hurdles, You're always going to come across failures. And those are literally just stepping stones towards your success. That's how you should look at failure. Stepping stones towards your success. No one on earth can be successful unless they have failed. I want you to really think about that. Yeah. No one on earth can be successful unless they have failed. You have to fail to become successful. In other words, you have to fail, and make sure you write this down. You must fail to become successful. You must fail, whatever it is, right? You must fail in something or make a mistake in something. So don't ever be afraid of making failures or mistakes or anything like that, right? Because the one who takes no risks as well, they get nowhere in life, really. One who's too scared of taking risks, they don't really get anywhere in life. They don't achieve their goals. Number 8, never say you can't do something. Otherwise, you can never do it. Otherwise, you can actually never do it. Now, this is something where, it's more of a kind of a mental thing, psychological type thing, whereby if you keep telling yourself that you can't do something, then you actually won't be able to do it. Yeah. Henry Ford, right? The guy who made Ford, right? He said that whether I think I can or I can't, it's the same. Whether I think I can or I can't, it's the same. Yeah, because if you think you can, then yeah, you can do it. If you think you can't, then you won't be able to do it, right? So this is more like believing in things to become, right? So you believe, I believe that I will be a very good closer, making 2K a month, whatever it is, right? I believe I can do that. If you keep saying that to yourself, you will be able to do that. If you keep saying it's difficult, it's difficult, the role players are difficult, I don't know how to ask this particular question on the phone call, I'm sweating over the phone call, whatever it is, if you keep saying those things or say something's too hard, then your brain can't find the ways out for you because you've already blocked it off. If you say something's so hard, like you can just imagine this now. Say, for example, yourself saying closing is hard. Yeah. You can already imagine just because you said the word hard that everything's shut off, like the door shut off, right? You can't actually see any openings. You can't actually see something working out with closing, right? But if you just change the wording, just change the wording. Closing is not easy instead of hard. Closing is not easy. Now your brain actually figures out, okay, well, if it's not easy, then, it's still got the word easy in, right? So your brain actually figures other things out, other ways to get around it, right? And that's like a kind of a well-known type of fact. There's probably plenty of studies on it and stuff like that, whereby you believe in something to become it, right? So you keep telling yourself something and it will actually happen. So for example, there's another study on this as well. When people write down, like specifically write down their goals, and when I'm talking about writing, ink to the paper, not on the computer, ink to the paper, then it has all these like positive nerve kind of flows or whatever it's called, right? In the brain, right? It creates more neural links so that stuff does actually happen, right? And then when you keep telling yourself that you can do this, you can do that, then your subconscious also works on it as well. Your subconscious also works on it. So when you're sleeping, you're thinking about that thing subconsciously. You're not dreaming about it necessarily, but you're thinking about it subconsciously. And then when you wake up, those things are made easier, or you're thinking about that as well when you wake up, right? So that's why as well the power of the subconscious as well is quite interesting because, let's say for example, if you have to wake up really, really early for work or something like that, right? Or you're going on a trip and you have to wake up at like 3 a.m. and you've just got to bed at 12 and you're thinking, oh man, how am I even going to get up? You put like 10 alarms on, stuff like that, but you're still thinking, how am I going to get up, right? But because you're always thinking about that, sometimes the alarms don't even need to wake you up. You just wake up yourself, right? You just wake up yourself because you're always thinking about that. So your body just wakes up. You might even wake up like an hour early. And then, obviously you think, oh man, I wish I woke up half an hour later, right? But, that's exactly what happens, right? So always say positive words to yourself as well. So what I mean here is that instead of saying, I can't, say, it's not easy, but I can, right? Instead of saying something's hard, say it's not easy, right? So just these like small differentiations will really do a lot for you. All right. Maxim number 9, get out of your comfort zone. So we talked a bit about this before. Comfort zone. This is if we look at the bottom right picture again, there's a whole circle. This is your comfort zone, your work, your family, your everyday relationships, your the money that you're earning, right? So whether it's 2-3K a month, whatever it is, 1K a month, whatever, the bills that you have to pay, that's all within your comfort zone. Yeah, you're not too worried about that. It's normal. It happens. You know, there shouldn't be any fear about it, basically, right? You're already conditioned towards that. Okay. But now, when it comes to your goals, like let's say, for example, you have a goal, you want to be, I don't know, you want to be like a millionaire or something like that, right? Now, that goal is outside of this circle, right? That's outside of the circle. It's down here, yeah, where the success trophy is, right? So you can't actually reach that until you expand your comfort zone. Yeah. So whatever's outside of your comfort zone, right, you can't actually reach it. You must expand your comfort zone and then you can reach it. So how do you expand your comfort zone? You learn more. You don't fear things, you just do it, right? That makes you uncomfortable. Yeah. So for example, when you don't fear things but you just do it, that's obviously going to make you very, very uncomfortable, right? But as a human being, you know, especially in this day and age, right, as a human being, a lot of us have been brought up too overprotected by our parents, right? And you know, with all credit to them, they've brought us up and everything, right? We're very grateful, but they brought us up too kind of overprotected. So what happens now is that anything hard that happens, we switch off. We're like, oh no, I can't do that. We have a bit of fear, you know, you get a bit scared, and then you don't do it, and then you don't achieve that thing either, right? But what you got to do is you feel that uncomfort, you feel that overwhelm, you feel that stress, but you embrace that. You embrace the uncomfort that you're having. Yeah, that is actually a win in life. That uncomfort that you're going through to get to your goals is actually a win in your life. All right. Because that expands your comfort zone. So now, the more things that you do and you don't fear, the more things that you learn, the more things that you know, invest in yourself into learn and stuff like that. Now, this circle will be so big that all of your goals will be within reach. Within reach. Okay. So getting out of your comfort zone is very, very, very big thing to do. All right. Um, Now, in this program, we're going to do it quite a lot. So, for example, when it comes to the videos that we told you guys to do, and there are some videos I haven't commented on yet, just haven't got around to it. Just been quite busy with meetings and that. But you know, that actually gets people out of their comfort zone, right? Because I remember when I went on a program and I was told to do the exact same thing. I was like, "What? A video? I've never done that myself. YouTube? What? You know, I'm not going to upload it on YouTube. What? You know, I was thinking, how do I do this? And I probably took like 10 tries before I actually sent out the video, right? I'm sure, you know, maybe some of you guys did that, maybe more, maybe less, right? But that's because it's uncomfortable. It's the first thing we have to do just to get out of a comfort zone. And that's why I've introduced it here. So there will be a lot of things that we're doing to make your life uncomfortable, right? Not just like so you can have an uncomfortable life, right? But so you can actually expand your comfort zone. Now, for example, before I even entered the world of entrepreneurship and closing and sales and marketing and stuff like that, you know, people were talking about like, you know, oh yeah, it will be brilliant. You know, for example, with with my right hand man Tayyib here, right? And he can speak about this a bit as well. So basically, I always use this story as well. It's just quite inspiring. So basically, he was telling me, yeah, you know, I've just done my um my I've got a graduate job, right? He's going to go through a couple of years of that, become some technical services manager, because he did engineering, right? Technical services manager or assistant, whatever it's called, right? But that would earn him 60K a month. So 60K a year. If it was 6K a month, I won't tell him anything. 60K a year, right? As a salary. And he was like, yeah, that's, you know, that's when everything's going to be chilling. That's so sick, right? 60K a year. And then I was actually with him. And by that time, I was, you know, I was in that world of entrepreneurship. Everyone around me was saying things like 10K a month, 100K a month, a million a year, stuff like that. And I was earning a good amount as well. And then, you know, I said to him, what, 60K a year? Is that it? Like, is that all you're aiming for within the next 3-4 years? You can go through all that 9 to 5, and go through all that hard work. You can go through all that people not appreciating you at work, toxic politics at work, and all that stuff, just to get 60K a year. And when you deduct tax and everything, that's just what, just around 3K a month. Is that it? I can do that in the next couple of weeks, right? Or I'm already doing that now, or I'm getting, you know, a lot more than that now. You just need to learn different types of skills to get there. And that itself expanded his comfort zone. He was like, what? Yeah. So here, another important thing is that you should always surround yourself with people who aspire bigger than yourself, right? So they aspire towards bigger and better things in life, because everyone around you, they're always going to be doing the same things as you, right? But in actual fact, especially when it comes to finances, in general, it's within life, but in actual fact, within finances, your network, so the people around you, your society, your social circle rather, is your net worth. Yeah. So a lot of the rich people say, if you average the 5 closest friends of yours, their salaries, you'd be getting that basically, right? Now, if your closest friend's salaries are 40K a year, then most likely throughout the whole of your life, you'll be on 40K a year. But if you average circle of friends and those people around you and your mentors and stuff like that, they're earning like 10 million a year, you're gonna be like, wow, I can definitely get to 1 million at least, or even 10 million. Yeah. So that's very, very important as well. You always need people to lift you up. So don't always be with those people that, they can be your friends. That's completely fine. But we're saying if you really want to excel in life, you need to be with people who aim very, very high, right? Without obviously forgetting those people who helped you when you were, smaller and stuff like that, of course. Dave, did you have any words on that little story? Is he there? Let me unmute him. All right, no worries, no worries. We'll continue. But yeah, so that's the whole thing with the comfort zone. All right. Now the next thing is number 10. So with this part, it's about why people fail miserably as closer. All right. Why people fail miserably. And I've seen this a lot. I've had huge connections with like so many different closers, hundreds and hundreds of different closers. I've seen some do very, very well where they're earning 20K a month, 40K a month, even 100K a month. I mean, imagine that, 100K a month, right? That's 1.2 million a year. Okay. Now, I've seen the good side and I've seen the bad side. I've seen people who have been in closing for 2 years and they're too scared to actually find a business client. They have a poor mindset, or they're too bad at closing, so they don't get any results, right? So I've seen people fail miserably as closers, basically. Okay. And obviously I don't want that for you guys. So the one of the things that actually is a contributor to someone failing as a closer, and with anything that you want to do, right? Lack of focus. Focus is so important. Lack of focus, right? You need to fully focus yourself on one thing at a time, ideally one main thing at a time. Okay. Fully focus. So for example, for the next 6 weeks, okay, you may have other things going on. That's completely fine. We're not telling you to drop everything. But what we're saying is that you need to be focused with this 6-week mentorship program. It's only 6 weeks. I'm not asking for 6 years, just 6 weeks. Yeah. And this could potentially change your life. Well, I know for a fact it will change your life because of all the mindset stuff. And that's why I put it in there to help everyone with that. But it will change your financial situation as well, which of course will change your life too. All right. So lack of focus. Okay. Thinking about plan B, plan C, plan D, and putting energy into that instead of focusing fully on plan A. Okay. So we've just got a nice graphic here that shows digging for oil, right? And this is what happens basically when you put your efforts into so many different things, you don't actually get to the oil, right? You don't actually get to the goal. So let's say, for example, someone wants to build massive wealth. They want to make $1 million a year, but they haven't even mastered one skill. Yeah. They're just trying to do little things here. They're trying to save some money on some games they want to buy or whatever, save a $5 here, save 20 quid there, or they want to, try some online thing where they do online surveys just to get 20 quid for an hour or stuff like that. No, you do a high income skill, you fully focus on that skill, and that's how you make a lot of money. Okay. That's the number one thing I want you to take away, especially with regards to this program, is that fully focus on it and know that this skill can get you to your financial goals. So some of you guys here, because I've been talking a lot now, could you just share your monthly financial goal within the next 12 months, please? So like per month, like 2K a month, 5K, 6K, whatever it is.
Mohsin, 3K a month.
3K a month. Okay, perfect.
I'd say the same.
Hassan, 10K a month.
10K a month. Okay, yep.
Imran, I'd love to get 5 to 10K a month, inshallah.
5, 10K a month. Yeah, inshallah, definitely. Anyone else? Cool. Yeah, so we've got some good numbers there. 3K, 5K, 10K. That's perfect. Yeah. Now, I guarantee you, if you fully focus on this within 6 weeks, and obviously after the 6 weeks as well, within 12 months, you would definitely reach that. I mean, there's no reason why you can't reach that. By the way, there's literally no reason why you can't reach that. Another thing is always make sure that you're thinking about the long term as well. Reason being is because if you think about it, the current jobs that you're on. So, for example, so the people that answered, if they can answer this as well, what kind of monthly wage are you on per month?
Mohsin, 3.5 to 4K.
3.5 to 4K. Okay.
Imran, just after taxes, like just under 2K. But
Under
yeah,
2K?
alhamdulillah.
Okay, perfect. Anyone else?
Hassan, about 4 to 5K.
4 to 5K. Okay, perfect. So you lot are earning anywhere between 2 to 5K, and your goal is anywhere between 3 to 10K, right? Now that 2 to 5K that you're earning, how many years of effort and work did you put in to get there? If you guys can answer as well. Yep.
Mohsin, 6 years.
6 years. Yep.
Hassan, 7 years.
7 years. Yep.
Imran, just 1 year.
Just 1 year. Okay, perfect. So yeah, look. So a lot of you spent a year, 6 years, 7 years. Some of you spent 3 years. Whatever it is, it's in the years basically, right? All I'm telling you here is to put in 6 weeks of hard effort. You don't have to go on some long degree, 4-year degree. Like half of it is not relevant anyway, right? We're not talking about that. We're just talking about 6 weeks of full focus, full attention. Because I know from the previous batches, right? From the previous batches, some of your friends might be in there as well. There were people who did not focus and they did not attend the classes, right? Even though we kept telling them, we kept encouraging them, telling them, asking them, what's wrong and stuff like that. They just didn't attend. They lacked that, whatever it was, they lacked it. They lacked that focus, okay? And they didn't really get much results. I haven't really heard of them or about their results, or if they found a business client and stuff like that. And that's because they didn't act upon what they were taught. They didn't focus fully in class, right? But those who have done well, and what I mean by done well, for example, one of my students, Nawaz, right? He basically made 15K in 3 months. In 3 months. So 5K a month, right? He's now using closing to replace his job already within a few months. All right. This is the potential of this, right? But the potential is a lot more as well, right? He's only got one closing job where he does like 3 to 4 hours a day. Imagine that, 3 to 4 hours a day and you're earning 5K a month. And that 3 to 4 hours a day is just Monday to Friday, right? And it's at home, and it's whenever you want. You can put your calendar whenever you want. That's the potential that we're talking about. If you wanted to do full 8-hour days, he could have got another opportunity, worked with another business client and started closing for that, and he could have doubled it. He could have easily got 10K a month if he wanted to. Focus, commitment, dedication, concentration. This is what we need from this, right? This is what we need. So that's that here. So I don't want you thinking too much about, okay, so if closing goes wrong, then what do I have as a backup? Because automatically you're saying to yourself that, okay, closing's not going to work. Let's shut that book. Let's close that chapter. Let's write a new chapter. Amazon, affiliate marketing, stocks. You're going to go through all these different things. It's called shiny object syndrome. Right? You might be faced with some advertisements on Facebook or YouTube whereby, they're saying, oh, how to quit your job 9 to 5. All you need is one product on Amazon, stuff like that, right? You're probably seeing that now. And you're probably thinking, wow, and you go on the webinars and think, oh yeah, this looks sick. I'm definitely going to go for that. No, just focus on one high income skill that's proven, right? And the results are proven, as we've proved, and focus on that for a long time. Okay. And you will get to your goals a lot quicker than you would with trying to, you know, dabble around with a whole load of different things, trying to juggle around making £100 a month from 4 different high income skills and stuff like that, right? Just focus on one and you get a lot more, right? That's what we're talking about here, lack of focus. Lack of action. So you can see there, 1 to the power of 365 equals 1. 1.1 to the power of 365 equals more than 1, right? If you take a little bit of action every single day, you achieve more. As simple as that. A lot of people that didn't really make it, whether it's my mentees or closed or whatever it is, anyone in life, is because they lack action. They'd rather sit down on their couch on the right, you know, play PlayStation or whatever it is. They'd rather do that instead of actually working towards their goals, right? I'm not saying do that stuff is bad. I mean, I do that stuff, right? I'm not saying it's bad, but it's all about action, right? So you do the action for your work first, and then you can do, you know, the other stuff, the recreational activities or whatever. All right. Lack of discipline. All over the place, not managing themselves properly. Now, this was me. Well, not the picture, obviously. For those of you that know me, I don't have any hair, right? But so literally all over the place. All right. Not managing myself properly. I would wake up at random times. I'd get to sleep bare late, like 2, 3 a.m. And this is when I was a closer, by the way, but I wasn't making much as a closer. All right. So I was very undisciplined, right? Or ill-disciplined. I think that's the word. Yeah. So basically, the problem was that I didn't have goals that were powerful enough that would keep me up and make me do the work, and then I can relax from there. So in the next lesson, this is what we're going to go over. We're going to go over life vision. This is on Friday, 8 p.m., by the way. Life vision, goals. We're going to get you to get excited about your goals, have that burning desire so that you're always doing things to reach them. We can get you to do things like daily affirmations and stuff like that, right? It's going to be very, very impactful. So definitely come to that class as well, because we're going to teach you how to have that discipline and what actually makes you have that discipline as well as a human being, okay? So the reason why people fail is because they lack that discipline. They're all over the place. They're sleeping, they're eating, their habits, every single thing is all over the place. And trust me firsthand, you don't want to be doing that because you won't get any results. You'd wake up every day, you'd think you've just wasted the day. All right. You don't want to be doing that. Lack of discipline. Poor mindset. Poor mindset. So if we go back to the first couple of slides we went over about the fixed mindset, the growth mindset, right? People, they don't want to learn it or they don't want to do something to get out of their comfort zone. That's poor mindset, guys. Or people with I'll give it a go mindset. Oh yeah, you know, closing, it sounds good. Yeah, Shoaib's a nice guy. Yeah, let's give it a go. Let's try it out, see how it goes. No, there's no trying out here. You do it. You're either in or you're out, right? So you see this guy on the bottom left, he's looking at both things, right? He should be fully on one side. So you're fully committed, okay? That's the kind of mindset that you want to come in here with. That, okay, I've invested a decent amount of money to get into this program, okay? So I'm going to fully concentrate on it, right? And by the way, this is why a lot of people charge high ticket. It's so that that person themselves can actually help themselves. Okay, I've invested quite a lot, so I need to fully focus on this. I need to make some return of investment on this, right? It helps that person a lot more. Because if you think about it, with free stuff, right, we don't really value it as human beings. For example, our parents. How many of us can say that we fully value them? They're for free, right? For example, food, water, our bed, our toothbrush. How many of us can actually say, yeah, I value it a lot. I value my bed when I lie down after a hard day of work. Yeah? Because it's free. I mean, obviously you might have paid for it, but you know what I mean? It's there. It's a luxury. Because of that, we don't really value it. But then when we see on like the other side of the world or people suffering or whatever it is, and we see that they don't have water, they don't have food, then we're like, oh, wow, I need to value my food a lot more or my water a lot more or whatever it is that you have a lot more. Yeah. That's just human beings. They don't know how to value things, right? Now, if you were to buy something that's going to teach you closing for £10 or even £100, right? Then you're not going to value it as much as if you bought it for a lot more, thousands. Okay. So that's why, you know, that's why there's a whole world of high ticket programs just because of that as well, right? So make sure that you're fully in this. You're fully in this. You're not looking at any other opportunities. If you are looking at other opportunities that aren't making you much or making at £20 a week, leave all that. Leave all that. Seriously, in the long term, that's not going to help you at all. Short term, you might get a few £20 wins here and there, but in the long term, £20 nothing. And this is why you need to raise the people that you're around as well. Obviously, we're grateful for all the money that comes in and out and all that stuff, right? Of course. But we need to really up our game, right? We need to expand our mind, our comfort zone. £20 a week, or for filling out a survey for £20. I used to do this stuff. This is what I'm saying. I used to do this stuff and think, oh wow, I just filled out a survey, I got 20 quid. Wow, man, this is brilliant. I can do this for the rest of my life. But then, not really, right? Not really. So you got to think big. For example, some commissions that I'm getting in some opportunities that I'm doing, some of them have been £200, £300, right? Just for speaking to someone 15 to 45 minutes over the phone. Imagine that. £200-300 just for speaking to someone over the phone and closing them on the deal. Some of them are much higher, £3,000. Yeah, £3,000. That's one of my highest commissions that I've got from literally just one deal. Just talking to someone 15 minutes, following up with a few texts, done. 3K in the bank. That's how it is. Yeah. And that's why you need to focus on a high income skill. This is a high income skill, right? Has everyone here gone over the video, The Wealth Triangle, that I have on my Facebook group? Has everyone gone over that? If you haven't, just let us know on the WhatsApp group, okay? And then we'll send you that video, because that basically shows you how to build wealth, right? So, Taib, if you can just make a note as well, if you can just send that video to them on the WhatsApp group after this, that'll be perfect. Perfect, man. So yeah, so make sure you don't give it a go. You fully commit to it, and you will get results. Dave, do you want to mention anything about that and how the previous batches have been, how your experience as a student have been? And by the way, guys, the reason why I've got Taib here is because, number one, he's definitely one of my best students, if not the best student, right? And the reason is because he has worked very, very, very hard within closing. Right now, he has a lot going on, right? He's got family to look after. He's got a whole load of things to look after. He's got his job as well. He had closing on the side as well. He's really expanded his comfort zone, right? And he can tell you about that in his own time as well. And the reason why I brought him on is because he was once in your shoes, right? We were all students once. I was a student once as well, right? It's not like I'm some amazing guy and all that stuff. I'm earning millions. No, I mean, I'm a student. I'm earning considerable amount, right? And you guys are learning off me on how to earn that, right? And I'm going to tell you everything I know on how to get that, right? So that's literally why you're here. But with Taib, he was literally with me a few months ago, and I've seen him progress a lot throughout those few months. He's earned a lot of money throughout those few months as well. And because of that, we both thought it would be very, very valuable for him to come on the classes, help you guys out with things. He can be a bit more relatable as well. I'm going to be very strict. He's going to be a bit more lighter on you guys, right? But that's how it is, right? And that's how I want you guys to really, really kind of have that proximity with us, with me, with Taib, right? To make sure that you get the most out of this, right? So, Taib, do you want to have like a few words on the mindset stuff as well?
Man, you've already said a lot of good stuff. The only thing I would say is when I came into this, I was talking to them about competition earlier on, and Shaq mentioned that he's the type of guy who says he wants to be the best at everything, and that literally describes me as well, right? So if I came onto this mentorship program, I even told Shahib I want to be the best, one of his best students, and actually work towards it, right? At that point, I didn't have anything else going on. It was just my job, and I really focused on this. So what Shahib said about focusing on one thing, perfecting it, and then moving on to other opportunities, that's very, very true. I would say, definitely pay attention to that. That's something that I did, and alhamdulillah, I was able to do really well with it. And yeah, I'm glad to be where I am right now. But one thing I would say is, definitely take this seriously. This is life changing. So this, everything that I'm achieving right now started from what I learned from this mentorship program. So this is life changing. Focus on this, and you'll be able to achieve great results, just the way I've been able to, and my brother as well. So that's all I can say. But yeah, Shoaib, I've learned a lot from Shoaib, and I'm glad to be here to assist you guys.
Perfect, man. Perfect. Appreciate you here, bro. Okay, let's move forward. Lack of patience, thinking too short term. So we went over this before. Think long term, not short term. Don't be impatient when it comes to creating wealth or with anything in life, with achieving your goals, right? Remember, as long as you're progressing, that's the main thing. That's what's going to help you in the long term. Yeah. So a lot of people, a lot of closers come with the mindset, oh, if I don't get a close within a month of learning this skill, then this isn't really the right thing for me. No, that's not true. That's just not true, right? You got to have patience. You got to work on closing. Closing is not just, okay, I'm going to be here for 6 weeks and then I'm going to be the best closer in the world. No, you work on it. I'm going to teach you everything I can within 6 weeks, but you have to put in the work, right? And even after the 6 weeks, you're going to have to put in the work. So when you find a business client to close for, then, you're going to have some calls where you do really well. You're going to have some calls where you lose the sale, even though you could have got the sale. And you're going to have some calls where people are annoying you on the call, right? Or they're calling you out, or they're saying, oh, you're here to sell me and this and that, right? And obviously we'll tell you how to get over all that stuff later on. But that's the life of a salesperson, right? There's always ups and downs. And that's with anything in life. As an entrepreneur, as a businessman, as just a human being, there's always ups and downs, right? Your life is always like a U-shape kind of graph, right? U's and inverted U's and stuff like that. Where it's always going up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah. Patience is a huge thing in creating wealth. Lack of training. So there's a term, ego is the death of skill. Ego is the death of skill. And you see a nice little picture there. I don't need to explain it. It's pretty obvious. But this guy's got ego, right? He's carrying a balloon of his own face. I mean, I've never seen anyone do that in real life, but so ego is the death of skill. Okay. Now, the thing is, sometimes, and this has happened to me, when you get one close, you think, oh yeah, I've nailed it. I know exactly how to close people now. I'm super confident in my next call. Next call comes, you haven't trained or practiced before that, and you lose the sale. You're like, oh man, what happened there? I'm not a good closer anymore. It's closing for me. Oh man, I need to earn 2K. That's just the ups and downs of business, guys. You have to have patience as last time, and you have to always be improving on your skill sets, because the highest paid person, the highest paid people in the world are those who have the best knowledge and skills. Okay. That's literally how it is. Ego is the death of skill. So don't ever stop training. Or within this 6-week program as well, when I tell you to, practice something 10 times or practice it an hour a day or whatever, then do it. Yeah. Don't think, nah. He said practice it, an hour a day, but, I don't need to do that. I can just do an hour for just 2 days a week. Now that's ego. At this point, I do know some of you guys as well. Some of you guys are older than me, and I respect that. I respect you guys. But here, just treat yourself as a student and treat myself as a teacher, and then you'll get very, very far, right? So ego is definitely the death of skill, right? And even when it comes to closing, you always need to be on your game, right? You always need to be someone who, you're listening to some calls, you're doing some form of training. Doesn't have to be intensive 3-4 hour trainings every day. Just quickly going over a little call that you had and seeing how you can improve on it and stuff like that, or going over some objections, how to handle it, stuff like that. So you're sharp all the time, right? That's the stuff that we're talking about, right? Just like 5, 10, half an hour a day, right? That's what we're talking about with regards to training. So a lot of people, they lack the training. They unfortunately, they don't do the assignments that we tell them to do, right? So all the assignments that we tell you to do, they're not just there to make your life hard or to make you do a lot of work or to make it seem like we know what we're doing by giving you a lot of work, right? It's there because it's actually going to help you as a person, as a closer, so that you can get the best results after 6 weeks, right? Now, I've invested in a lot of different closing training programs out there, sales programs, everything like that, from very, very big types of people, right? And this program is an accumulation of all the best bits in all of those trainings, plus all of my experience within 2 years of closing. All right. So that's literally what it is. That's literally what it is. So you're going to get the best of the best here. So that's why, I get quite annoyed at people who don't go with the stuff that we're telling them. Because I think to myself, okay, well, do they actually want to be successful? Right. And this is a question you've got to ask yourself as well, like a real deep question. What do I actually want in life? Do I want to have this? Do I want to have that? If so, how do I get there? One of the ways to get there is to keep practicing your skill set, whatever you're good at, right? So that's lack of training. We're near the end now. Lack of guidance and support. All right. Now, a lot of people, they try to wing it, do things themselves. They don't have a mentor, they don't have guidance, and they get nowhere, right? Imagine a person who, wants to become a doctor, and he's reading all the textbooks. He's got so many notes on all the textbooks. He's memorized the textbooks. And, then it comes to, he wants to do surgery on someone. And when they ask what your qualifications, oh, well, I don't have qualification. I've never done surgery before, but I've read it in the textbooks. No, just stay far away, right? That's just how it is with anything in life. You need a mentor there who's already been through what you're going through and been through what you're going to be going through, so that we can help with everything and anything that you're going through. All right. And that's why we're here as well. So do ask questions. Do make sure, this is a platform where you can all ask questions. There's not going to be any shaming or, oh, that's a silly question or whatever. We're going to answer your questions, right? We want you to be comfortable here. But at the same time, you have to give us that commitment that you're all going to be doing, your utmost best in this. You're going to be having that full focus on this as well. All right. And anytime you're feeling a bit like low or a bit, this is difficult, just go back to this lesson. Go back to this lesson and you learn a lot from it, and you'll be inspired a bit more as well.